It's another riding session today with Garth, and today I'm going to focus on lateral work, which essentially means moving sideways. And we're going to be working in the walk today because there are a huge amount of things that you can do in walk. This is a really useful thing if you've had a horse that you have had an injury and it's had some time off and you're bringing it back and you want to give them lots of things to think about, to really get them thinking, and also stretching, and stretching not just long and low through their frame, but also flexing to the left and the right. And it just helps, rather than just pootling around, it gives them a little bit more to think about, and also for the rider. It's also really useful for working in, so either at home or especially at competition. If you've got a horse that gets a little bit tense, it's really, really useful to be able to do a lot of work in walk at a competition in the working in area. And if you've got a horse that's really tense and you're a little bit anxious about taking it into the working in area with other horses, this is something that you can do around the car park. And I had a horse years ago who was particularly tense. He was quite young, and I used to do so much work just pootling around the car park, in and around the trailers and wagons, and flexing him left and right, moving him away from my leg to really get him thinking, switched on and with me before I took him into the working in area. So that's what we're going to be doing today, and I'll talk you through it as we go. So I'm just going to have a little walk around to begin with, just on a loose rein, and then we'll take it from there. And these exercises that I'm going to show you are also really, really useful. Just stand there a minute, Mr. Garth. Good boy. For concentrating on yourself. So if you're a beginner rider or an experienced rider, but you need to just focus on your own position. When we are trotting, cantering, moving faster, everything obviously happens a little bit faster. So it can be useful to just take it back to the walk where you haven't got quite as much to think about. And it's really useful for beginner riders. So you can be doing the lateral work, but you can be really thinking about yourself as well as your horse. So just while I'm on a 20-metre circle in the middle of the arena, so touching the edges at E and B, I'm going to flex him to the inside, so I'm wrapping him around my inside leg, and then I'm going to flex him to the outside, but I want him to keep walking forwards. Good boy, good lad. And then inside again. Good boy. And that's actually not an exercise I've done with him for a while, so he's getting a little bit confused and he's thinking I want him to move away from my leg when all I want him to do is just flex his neck. So to help him with that, I'm going to just halt, and I'm going to do that exercise in halt. So I'm just going to ask him to stay stationary. Good boy. Whoop. And I want him to flex. Good lad. Around to the right. Good lad. Stand. He says, I want to go, mummy. Can you just flex your head to the right? Good boy. That's it. And then I want you to flex your head to the left. Ah, good boy. That's it. That's all we wanted. Good lad. So now he's worked out without wanting to move forward or off my leg. I'm just flexing him round to the left. And now we'll do the same again to the right. So I'm keeping my left rein there as stability, And my right rein, I'm just gently massaging and asking him to bring his nose a little bit more, little bit more, little bit more. There, good boy. To the right. Good boy. And again, a little bit to the left. So I'm just massaging the bit in his mouth. Good boy. And then again to the right. And I'm using wide hands here to help him. Good boy. That's better. And so what I'm going to do now is actually do the flexing on a straight line rather than on a curve. So I'm just going to come down the centre line from A towards C, and then on that straight line I'm going to ask you to flex a little to the left, good lad, flex a little to the right, good lad. And can you see how he's trying to actually move his whole body? And that's okay. He is an older boy, good lad. Much, and then to the right, and then to the left. So already he's starting to change his frame because he's really thinking and listening. Good boy. And the next exercise I'm going to do is working on a circle. And make it really small. And then I'm going to leg yield him out from the little circle back out onto the 20-metre circle. So I'm not asking him to leg yield at the moment, I'm just walking him on like a snail shell spiral, staying on his track and just making the circle smaller. And then I'm going to start to move him out by pushing him off my inside leg and spiralling back out through a leg yield back onto the 20-metre circle. Good boy. And this is a really great way to teach them leg yield if they haven't done it before, and it's easier than that traditional straight line. Spiral him down. So again, it's not a leg yield when I'm going down. Good boy. It's just making the circle a little bit smaller and a little bit smaller, a little bit smaller. And then I'm going to start to leg yield him back out to the track. Good. And I want to take quarter to half the circle to get back out. So he should be stepping forwards and sideways, using his, whoops, steady lad, putting his inside hind leg underneath him. So I'm going to change the rein, and we're going to do that in the opposite direction. So I'm changing, turn, and then back on to our 20-metre circle. So we're going to establish our inside bend and a nice even rhythm. Good boy. Good boy. So we're making it a little bit smaller and a little bit smaller as we go. And then I will leg yield him back out. Okay, Okay, so now we're down to about 5 metres, and I'm going to leg yield him slowly back out to 20 metres. Ooh, a little bit too much bend there. Good boy, that's it, good lad. My 20-metre circle down to 10 and as close to 5 as I can get, but don't make it too tight if you've got a young horse or a horse that's recovering from injury or has recently had his back done, or is just a really big framed horse. You know, use your space to your advantage. So we're now down to about 10 metres. We're going to get a little bit smaller, almost down to 5. Good boy. And then I'm going to leg yield him back out. Boy. Good boy. And the next exercise I'm going to do is working him on a square. And I can use a turn on the haunches or a turn on the forehand. So we're going to start with a turn on the forehand. Straight. And then I'm going to tell him to wait. And then I'm going to turn him so his quarters are moving around his shoulders and walk him up. Good boy. Then again, wait. Quarters around his shoulders and walk on. And then again, wait, half halt, quarters round his square. Good boy. And then I'm going to do it the other way. So now we're going to turn his quarters. Good boy. Whoop, wobbly one. And wait and move your quarters. Good boy, and walk on. And one more. Half halt and wait. Move your quarters. Good boy. So that is his turn on the forehand, where he's moving his hind end around his front end essentially. But I can equally do a turn on the haunches, where I move his front end round his back end. So same sort of thing, onto a square, we're going to halt, and then we're going to move his shoulders around his quarters. Good boy. And again, half halt, moving your shoulders around your quarters. One more. Half halt, shoulders around quarters. Good boy, go, go. Good lad. And then I'm going to change direction. So wait and good boy, and half halt, shoulders around quarters. Good boy. One more, so we've done a complete square, half halt and moving over. Whoop, that was a bit of a wobbly one. We'll just do one more. Shoulder. Good boy. And you can really see how he's really engaged now, and he's starting to work right over his back. Good lad. And this is what many people spend a lot of time in trot trying to achieve. But I am particularly mindful with Garth, with him being an older horse, that the more work I can do with him in walk, the better his joints are going to be long term, because every time we trot and canter, essentially, you know, it's like us as if we run, you know, the difference between walking and running. Here we are putting that stress and strain on those joints, and the concussion that comes up through their feet and into their shoulders and into their whole body. So the more I can do with them in walk, the... And then the next thing I'm going to do is just a good old traditional leg yield, where I come down. I would normally use the 3/4 line, but for the purposes of filming with the camera set at the centre line, I'm going to come off the centre line. So I'm going to go down to A, and then I'm going to leg yield him across to the track. So we're coming down the centre line. We're going to establish straight to begin with, and then I'm going to move him from my right leg away. He wants me to drop. So I'm going to just turn, and I'm going to do that again. So again, coming down the centre line, and this time I'm going to use more of a half halt to just say wait. Yes, I'm going to put my leg on. Yes, we're going to do something, but we're actually going to be moving over. Good lad. Not going faster. Good boy. Good boy. Good lad. Again, away from my right leg. He does have a tendency to want to lead with his shoulder, so I want to try and make sure he's moving his bottom. Good boy as well. That's it. And in leg yield, we are flexing in the direction opposite to the direction that we're moving. So the same as if we were on a circle. Good boy. And now I'm going to come down the centre line from C and do the same thing again. Good boy. And then again coming from A. Nice, even. Stretch. And encourage him to take his head and neck long and low, but still with a connection to the bit and still listening to me, and he should still be looking in the direction that he's going. So I should just be able to see the inside eyelashes and nostril. And then I'm going to change the rein and stretch him in the other direction. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. I'm going to end this video here. I hope it's been useful to those of you that ride and interesting to those of you that don't. But you can see in a very short space of time, he has really used his body and his muscles. He's had to think, he's been connected to me. And if, you know, you're working full time and you want to ride but you haven't got 40 minutes or an hour, 20 minutes in walk can be really, really useful. And obviously, you know, the weather's warming up now, but in the winter months, you know, I want to be doing 10, 15, 20 minutes getting their muscles warmed up before I can sort of really push on. So if I haven't got much time, I can do 10, 15, 20 minutes in walk using these exercises, and we've both still, you know, done something that is worth doing. So I'm going to carry on now and do a little bit of trot and canter work, but I'm going to end this video here. But if I was in a hurry, as I say, if I had to get to work, or if it was during the winter months, and I just wanted to do some stretches, I could even ride him in an exercise sheet. That would be enough of a little workout for him. So as ever, thank you so much for watching. Do drop me any comments below. If you've got any questions or comments, let me know if you've got horses, you know, anything you'd like to ask or anything you'd like to say, that would be lovely. But for now, take care, and I'll see you all again soon.